Samra along with my co-hosts Stank and Poppy Latte, and you're watching the Loose Cannons, presented by Red Cap Plumbing and Air, a Tampa-based company who takes pride in their reputation for timely service, professional results, and exceeding your expectations. They truly define hashtag Tampa Proud. We have a very special guest today. We are hanging out with Super Bowl champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneer quarterback, the Brad Johnson. Brad, welcome to the Loose Cannons, man.
All right, man. Excited to be here. Appreciate you guys reaching out. So we'll have a lot of fun here.
Oh, we're
the most slept on Buccaneer in history. The most underrated, underappreciated Buccaneer in history. Brad Johnson, the one who slayed the dragon, who killed the curse, who brought a trophy to this town, that a laughable town. You know, the Succaneers, the Yuccaneers. Brad, you did that. You did that for our fans, our fan base, all the suffering, you know, Creamsicle Nation, man. You did something special, and I will forever love you for that.
Yeah, man, it was an awesome time. I'm sure we'll talk about all that, but I was, you know, it was a big reason why I came in free agency to Tampa, and we can talk about it. But it was to be the first guy that ever won it there, and but there's a lot of great legends, a lot of great Hall of Famers, and more to be. And it was an awesome time to be the first one. Now they've won it twice. It's pretty cool.
Listen, I mean, Brady's the GOAT, but you did it first.
Yeah.
Sorry, Thomas.
You did it first. That Jurevicious play in Philadelphia doesn't happen if Brad Johnson doesn't throw a perfect pass, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And
you know, it's a cool thing. I'm interrupting you on that, but let me tell you something about that play. It's triple left A3 double smash X option to Joe Jurevicious with 73 yards, and we couldn't sniff a first down, and I almost audibled out of the play. I had 3 audibles. I was either going to 98 Bunch Crunch or 59 Lexus or 359 Sticky. That was just because I thought they were going to blitz. We made a bang R call, caught him in quarters coverage, caught Joe on a jerk route. And I mean, it was probably the biggest play, honestly. Otherwise, I don't know if we scored for a while there. It was tough, cold, and Joe made it happen. So
what is going on right now? Like, Jake comes on here, Jake Arians, Brad, and he always talks about the quarterback positions played from the neck up, guys.
Oh my
Forget
God.
all this athletic stuff. You win from the neck up. Brad is literally going over coverages and plays from 20 years ago. If that's not recall, I don't know what is.
I mean, he even knows the audibles that he had to go through. But you know what's crazy is I remember, if I remember correctly, when we played them the first time, they really got after you. You got sacked quite a few times. I don't know if that was the game that you injured your ribs or if it was that in the playoff games you were playing with injured ribs. I can't recall how it went, but I do remember that you playing the way you played in that game in Philadelphia in the playoffs. We don't win without that, because you stood in there and you and John, obviously, you guys had a game plan ready for exactly what they were going to bring on every one of those blitzing downs. Because I remember Johnson was, you know, this defensive coordinator that everybody loved to watch because he blitzed every time and he would get after you, and he was always like our Achilles heel. And then there you are, Brad Johnson, standing tall and just delivering passes. And you basically picked them apart, and we just worked against them. Speak a little bit to what John had prepared for that game.
Yeah, Philadelphia. I mean, if you go back in time, I actually was in Washington before I came to Tampa. I played against them a bunch. Jim Johnson was the defense coordinator there. Dawkins, Al Harris. I mean, they were loaded in the back end, loaded on the front end. They went to 4 NFC championship games in a row. They had our number in Tampa there for a couple of years in the playoffs. And so that year, earlier in the year, they beat us. It was October 20th. Beat us, I believe it was 20-10. Got my ribs cracked in that game. We couldn't. I mean, it was just, they made it tough, man. They made it tough. And but from that game going on, we got better at protections, got better at plays, and we were 3-1 every 4 games. Went up to Philadelphia in the cold, and had a great game plan for them. And it was just one of those things where when you play against Philadelphia, you knew it wasn't going to be pretty. Not a play's going to be pretty, not a run's going to be pretty. It's going to be an ugly, ugly game. And so we were able to go up there, and that was really pretty much, I felt like beating our nemesis, felt like that was a Super Bowl to us, winning in the cold, up there, closing down the vet. And it was just obviously Rondé Barber had the interception at the end of the game, and closed it down. Man, it was one of the best feelings I ever had as a Buccaneer, and it was one of those games I don't think Buccaneers will ever forget.
Right. What was that like? Because I know when I saw Rondé pick that ball off, I mean, I didn't see the play live, because as soon as he picked it, I just fucking ran outside. I was losing my freaking mind. I started crying. It was nuts. We're going to the Super Bowl. What was it like on the sideline? Because I've heard players describe it, and it was just like eerily silent. Like it just went, all the air went out. What was it like on the sideline watching Rondé go, taking it to the house and knowing that you guys were going to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, at that time, I believe the score was 20-10. We were winning.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's like 2.5 minutes to go or so on the clock. I knew if they scored one possession, a field goal or touchdown, they had some timeouts to kill. We were going to have to get 2 first downs to kill the clock. And it was tough sledding at that time of the game. And I believe the play was a draw play that they actually had. And they ended up running like double slants. Rondy picked it off. I'm like, holy smokes, here we are, baby. We're heading to the Super Bowl. He put up the number 1 sign. He was rolling. And it's a play that will always be remembered in Buck history. It closed down the vet. Usually in the championship games, you do the celebration on the field. But, like this year when Tampa won up in Green Bay, they did the celebration on the field. But because it was the vet, they kicked us off the field. It was even better for us because we were a tight-knit group in the locker room. Terry Bradshaw and Jimmy Johnson, they're doing all the interviews, and we're hooting and hollering. And it was one of those, high school moments more than a pro moment. That's how good we felt. And they were already, probably packing their bags, heading to the Super Bowl. But that was a day we came through in the clutch. And Rondy Barber's play at the end kind of sealed the deal.
Dude, you just describing it takes me way back. I'm getting goosebumps. Like the hair on the back of my neck. I mean, it was the defining moment for our fandom at that moment, and even till today, man. Like that is what I remember. It's the greatest play in Bucks history. That game is a game that I still watch today. It's one of my favorite games to watch because it's so up and down. It's dramatic, and the way it started out, we're like, oh shit, dude, it's this fucking Eagles team again that just we always stub our toe and something goes wrong. When you guys went into that game, Brad, like we talked to BA and we talked to a couple of guys from the Bucks this past year, they were really confident that they were going to go into New Orleans, that they were going to win that game. They knew what they were doing. They were ready. When you guys went into that Philadelphia game, John has spoken a couple of times, different interviews, different NFL films about, I had a plan, and he told the guys on the bus, get me back here and we'll beat these guys. How confident were you guys as a group and as an offense going into the vet in that atmosphere, in that type of a moment, NFC Championship game against a team that's really been your nemesis and your Achilles heel? How'd you guys feel?
Yeah, we were solid all season long, but they were our nemesis. They'd beaten us early in the year. They'd beaten us in the playoffs the past 2 years, playing up in the cold, playing at the vet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just, and I remember the night before the game, I remember Gruden was like, dude, something bad is going to happen early in the game, but don't panic. Don't panic. And they run the kickoff back. Brian Mitchell, I believe, ran the kickoff back to our 25-yard line, then they hand the ball off to Deuce Staley. And, I mean, the towels were going. The thermometers, you're looking at, below 15 degrees. And I'm like, holy smokes, this ain't going to happen on our watch this time. And that's what happened. And that's what Gruden talked about. And we obviously had a tremendous defense, great players. And then offensively, we kind of got going a little bit there in the second quarter. The play to Joe Jurevicius was the one that got us over the hump. And we, were able to, get the lead, got a field goal in there too, got the lead at halftime, and then we were able to just close it out. But it was it felt like the Super Bowl, honestly, because that was the matchup. That was your enemy. And if I'm taking a flight, I would not fly through Philadelphia. I nothing to do with that town. You know what I'm saying? It was that kind of thing. So many Hall of Famers on both sides of the field that night, and it ended up being our day.
Brad, a lot has been made of Brady coming here this year, new system, and then we win the Super Bowl. You had to learn a new system that year, Gruden's first year. I mean, the whole team kind of had to learn, at least offensively, had to learn the new system. Did it take you a long time to kind of get your groove? And because I mean, it's not like Gruden's system is easy. I mean, he's notorious for having these long-winded play calls and always coming up with crazy things. How hard was that?
Yeah, every system you go to, it's new terminology, it's new system. It's like this word means this word, but it's not the same. They don't mean the same thing, even though they're the same words, And I remember having the very first meeting with Gruden, and I was in his office. It was just me and him. He's like, Brad, we're going to win a Super Bowl this year. You got to believe me. We're going to declare war on Warren Sapp and Simeon Rice and John Lynch and Monty Kiffin and Dexter Jackson and all the Tampa Bay group. We're going to declare war in practice. And how are they going to blast off the Joker right X short 22X drive halfback burst? How are they going to stop triple F right 359 Nebraska X seam? They can't stop us. But I remember there was a lot of verbiage to go through. And also, I'm going to get into it here in a second, but we ended up making a bunch of moves in free agency. I think we brought 15 to 19 guys. We're bringing in Joe Jurevicius and Keenan McCardell. We already had Keyshawn. You bring in Roman Oben, left tackle, Kerry Jenkins, Michael Pittman, Ken Dilger, Ricky Dudley. So you think about the system this year with Tampa Bay. They brought in, I believe, 10 free agents this year. Some go-getters, some power players, especially on the offensive end. And so defensively this past year, I think at Tampa, they scored 145 points off of turnovers during the regular season. They scored 45 points off turnovers in the playoffs, so more notably the Saints game. And so if you're going to win it all, just do the test of time. Just pick out the Denver Broncos, pick out the Dallas Cowboys, pick out the Green Bay Packers, pick out any Super Bowl winner. You better have a dominant defense or the one that comes through in the clutch. And then offensively, you can't turn the ball over. So with Brady, he's a guy. He just went to 10 Super Bowls and lost in 4 AFC Championship games. Could have been to 14 Super Bowls.
That's nice.
Incredible. But he knows how to win. And so we're in the first year, just like Brady was this year, learning a new system. How do you call the play? What does it mean? What do you want to accomplish on this play? How are we going to approach practice? All the above. And so this year, the Bucs were 7-5 after 12 games, and we were 9-3. But both teams were very hot during the playoffs, had a great defense, and we scored off turnovers too. So kudos. You don't win it by accident, but it takes a lot of luck and a lot of great players along the way too.
Right. Hey, Brad, you brought up Monte Kiffin. There was a press conference yesterday that, announcing he's going to be inducted into the Ring of Honor. Can you say a little something about what it was like to play against Monty, being around Monty in general? Yeah,
I was with Monty for a couple years up in Minnesota with Tony Dungy also. Yeah. And so then I faced Monty when I was in Minnesota. I faced Monty when I was in Washington. And then sometimes you want to join forces, But Monty, they had it takes the players, but it takes a system, but it takes everyone being cohesive and doing it together. And so they did it over a test of time. Monty had his thumb on the pulse of the team. He got the best out of all those players, and it takes greatness to bring out greatness of others. And that's what Monty did. Most deserving to be in the Ring of Honor. It's pretty awesome for him, his whole career. And it's a lot of those guys he coached and went on to the Hall of Fame. So just happy for Monty, happy for his family, and Tampa Bay doesn't win it without Monty Kiffin. There's no doubt about that.
Brad, he brings up Monty, and I was going to ask you, when you got to Tampa, obviously you were here for a couple of years, if I remember correctly, before John was brought in, right?
1 year.
1 year, okay.
Yeah, 1 year.
So you played against Sapp, you played against Brooks, in the playoffs. I believe we faced you with the Washington Redskins, and that was, that weird game that ended with the missed field goal and the bad snap and all that. So you were kind of, you knew about them. What struck you the most when you got to Tampa Bay and then you faced these guys in practice and you got to know them kind of from the locker room side and the practice field side? Was it still insanely competitive and crazy, or did you find out that these guys were just going to try to kill you on the field and not so much in practice? Like, how was that when you got to town and you got to see those people from a different light?
I knew a lot of them just from playing against them, and the relation with Derek Brooks, of being with him at Florida State and work done, and John Lynch, I'd known him a long time, faced Warren Sapp for a long time, and Dexter Jackson, we were together. So there's just a lot of respect, even though we were, I faced him when I was in Minnesota and Washington, regular seasons, playoffs, all the above. So a lot of respect. And so in my free agency move, I felt, for me personally, there's two big reasons to go to Tampa Bay. One was my contract was more secure than other places. And the other one is to be the first quarterback to win it for Tampa Bay. To be honest with you, the last guy who won in the state of Florida was Bob Greasy, like in 1971. So I wanted to be the first one to do it, but I also knew that I felt like I was the perfect quarterback for Tampa Bay, for their approach, for their defense, for the way they played, and not turn the ball over and give them a chance to be in every game is what you want as a quarterback. But those guys were fierce in practice. They were like, a bunch of hyenas or hornets. They were on every play. They were not going to give you an inch. And it's kind of a bend but don't break kind of thing. Created turnovers, and they were tenacious to the ball at all times. So obviously, John Lynch, John Lynch, Derek Brooks, and Warren Sapp Hall of Famers, and hopefully you get a couple more here, Rondé Barber and Simeon.
Used to be in there.
But it takes a lot of those great players, but the other guys like Shelton Quarles and Greg Spires and Brian Kelly and Al Singleton and Dexter Jackson on the defensive side, and then we made moves on offense, but have all the respect in the world for those guys on defense.
I gotta ask you, Brad. We've heard it on TV be blown up. How often did John really call Spider Y2 banana? I mean, was that a thing, or did he just do that for the quarterback camp? How often was that called?
You shift to green left short, Spider 2, Y banana, Z over, heads up for 359 smoke.
Holy shit.
Spider 2.
Hey, by the way, Brad, I'm running the wrong fucking route, bro. I don't know what just happened.
I was looking the wrong way half the time too. But
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I've called that play, I've called it dart right, fullback flat. I've called it Rambo right, fullback flat. I've called it power pass. I've called it
sounds better, Y2 banana.
Spider 2 pass. And John made it famous with Spider 2 Y banana. West Coast terminology, especially on his TV show, and so he made it famous, and or whatever you want to call it. But it's a basic play they run in high school and college, but it's out of the power pass, it's out of the power runs, and it was a big play for us.
People made they made a big deal out of John getting those plays into you guys. We saw him in NFL films with Chris Sims and you, and like. I get that it's a little bit more daunting task to get it on the quarterback, but how much did those plays affect the other guys? Like, how much did it affect the wide receivers having to hear you say that one time in that huddle, hoping that you're getting it right, and then they got to hopefully catch it all? Did that come up? Was that a problem, or is it just a little bit more on the quarterback because you have to literally say it?
No, I think over time it all makes sense, and
Okay.
it's repetitive. It's a thing you hear it in the morning meeting, then you practice it in the walkthrough, then you practice it before practice, and then you run it in practice, then you watch it on film after practice, and then you just do it so many times it does become repetitive. And there are a lot of names and numbers and shifts and motions, but that's part of the game. It becomes kind of in the marrow of your bone. You know what I mean? It has to be who you are, but everyone's on the same page with the audible package. You might be in bunch right, 72 scat Z jerk, and there's 2 audibles off of it. It's 200 jet smoke or 98 bunch crunch. So everything's packaged together, and you just kind of learn it, whatever it is. You just learn to learn. It's tougher on young guys. It's tougher on rookies because there's not as much patience. But a veteran that's watching, who's listening, who's learning, repetitive, and it means something to them, then it'll carry over the game. There's not that many mistakes.
Yeah.
Johnson, Brad, this is a weird question coming from a Gator fan. How was it playing for a legend like Bobby Bowden?
Yeah. Awesome. I'll give you a quick little story. When he was at recruitment at Florida State, I think he was 63 years old. That was right. We were at the beginning of a 14-year run where we finished in the top 4 for 14 straight years. Didn't win the national championship. I didn't, but he won 2 during that time. And he had great coaches. There wasn't a lot. He wasn't firing coaches and volatile people coming and going. And I remember after his 200th win, he called a meeting, and I thought he was getting ready to retire. At 200 wins, he's 65 at that time, and he actually gave his testimony, which was pretty cool because that doesn't happen very much in college football or pro football. And then because you want to impact people besides just winning ball games. If that's what we're doing, then we're not really, growing the youth and college kids is more than just winning games. So, and he went on to win 365 games. Coach Brady's like 80 something years old, and have all the respect in the world for Coach Bowden. And everybody that's ever played for him, you're only going to have like the guys that became coaches, you're like, man, I want to coach the way he did and treat us and respect us the way he did. It was tough. It was work. You had your primetime players that if you talk, but you better back it up. And that's what he gave you the right to do that. So just thankful to say he was my coach and wasn't worried about him getting fired every year. It's pretty cool.
Brad, when I think of Brad Johnson and the name Brad Johnson comes up, I think tough as nails. I think of a guy that just stares down the barrel of the gun, as they say, and just you step into it. And I mean, you took some vicious hits, man. A lot of guys nowadays don't do that kind of stuff. They'll just kind of roll around, athletic, whatever, and move around to not do that. But I also heard a story on a broadcast about you having a fresh pair of socks and having to consistently change your socks or constantly. I'm a texture guy. I don't like crap on my feet. I don't mess with that stuff. It gives me the EBGBs. What was the deal? Like that always piqued my interest because I don't, like I said, texture, weirdness. I got to be switching my socks. What's the deal besides, we're sock brothers. Sammer doesn't wear the same socks, more than once. So I got to know what's the deal with the socks. What's the deal?
It wasn't just the socks. It was everything. It was the whole uniform. So I'm a guy, I sweat a lot. Like I'm coaching high school ball now. I changed my shirts after halfway through practice. It's just soaping. You know what I mean? Play golf. I'm not afraid to change my shirt after 9 holes. So in football, I liked a fresh pair of shoes, fresh socks. So I actually wore 3 pairs of cleats, one in warm-ups, one for the first half, one for the second half. I'd change my socks warm-ups, first half, second half. Shoulder pads I'd change after warm-ups. I'd wear one for the first half, one for the second half. Change my jersey before the game, first half, second half. Sweatbands every series. I mean, it became work. I don't think I ever heard a halftime speech. You only get 12 minutes to change it. Yeah. But I didn't like. I was soaking wet, sweating wet. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna come out clean every time, and it's like putting on a pair of brand new shoes. You just feel good, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I want to feel like every time I was playing. I want to feel good.
You took look good, play good, feel good, play good to a whole nother level. Like Jerry Rice would lay out his uniform. Brad was like, "Watch this, bro. I'm gonna switch my shit fucking 3 times in a game."
I've never heard that before. I've been around a lot. I've never heard. I mean, usually football players are very superstitious. Like they're like, I'm wearing this undershirt and I'm never washing it. And there's a lot of players like that, and they just walk around stinking. But Brad was out there fresh. Like,
listen, I can relate.
Smelling like dial as soon as he came up into the huddle every play.
I can relate. When I eat dinner or meal, I don't use the same fork for more than one bite, right? So I'm actually going through weird. Like 65 forks or spoons, depending on what the meal is, per meal. Like that's insane, right? So and here's the thing. Like, once those have been used once, they go in the trash, obviously. So I've got
to talk to somebody about that, bro.
I've got a garage of china and utensils. It's pretty crazy. I don't know where it came from. Yeah, it's really. Listen, talking about weird and crazy, Brad, you were in a locker room with some serious. Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks is a quieter type, but Simeon likes to talk. Keyshawn loves to talk. Can you give us a behind the scenes story, the craziest thing that happened in the Tampa Bay locker room? It doesn't need to be from that Super Bowl year, but just being around that group of guys and the amount of chatter that came off from just the guys I listed off. Give us something from a locker room that's just a crazy story that.
Yeah, I mean, you're dealing with a bunch of rock stars, you know what I mean? But everybody loved to play, and no one was afraid of the microphone to speak. But if you're gonna win it, you need players, you need rock stars to a degree, and that's what we had, So, but I remember there was always pranks and things taking place. And I remember, you always get a fine, if you don't have your socks pulled up all the way to your pants or your shirt's undone or throw a ball in the stands, there's always a fine. And I just remember one of the players, they pulled a joke on him for an illegal hit. They had documents signed. They had a post office sent from New York, like it's from the Roger Goodell or Paul Tagliabue, whoever it was at the time, said you got a $25,000 fine for an illegal hit, and the guy was just panicking and crying, and because he's going to have to tell his wife he got fined $25,000. And it was a prank, a joke. So, but that stuff like that was going on all the time. But everyone respected each other, and kind of let each other have their say so too.
Freaking awesome.
You don't like seem like the kind of guy would back down, and there were a lot of big personalities. Were you the shit talk guy? Were you giving it back to Sapp when he was, giving you some out there?
No, I mean on the field I would say my piece, but I was kind of quiet guy. I did my work, and then I dealt with mostly the offensive guys. I wasn't big talker as far as that kind of goes. Things go. Everyone kind of, Sapp was louder than others. You know what I mean? So, but we had a great. Sapp and I we're friends today, stay in touch and that kind of stuff. But no, I wasn't a big talker in the locker room. I'd say my piece on the field though, if that needed to be said.
Here's a question. Listen, so before you signed with the Bucs, obviously the Bucs had some serious quarterback problems and issues, and it was well documented that the defensive players didn't like the quarterback most often when they got into the locker room. I believe it was with Trent Dilfer. They would usually bash. They would confront guys because they felt like they were losing the game because of that. And so when you came into town, obviously Derek and Sapp, they knew you, they played against you, so there's just some mutual respect there. But did you have to kind of earn some more of that respect from them because they've been kind of killing it on defense year in, year out, and just it always felt like, especially from us and from some of the defensive guys, that they were just losing these games because the offense couldn't get out of the mud. They couldn't get going, and they usually blame the quarterback. Did you have to kind of prove yourself to those guys in a sense because you were this new quarterback and now you were coming in here and you were going to hopefully, change what had been happening for so many years?
I don't know what the perception was before. I mean, I'm a guy that, dot my I's and cross my T's kind of guy. I'm work hard in meetings. I'm going to be, communicate with receivers, communicate with the line. Just take care of my own business, not try to do anything more than who I am, So I think having those relationships with guys beforehand, I was with Tony Dungy in Minnesota before, so we had a relationship. So I think everyone knew who I was before I got there, and kind of what I was about. And I came there for one reason, was to win it. But a quarterback, you're either the hero or goat kind of thing, you know what I mean? The pat on the back and slap on the face is 6 inches away, whether it's a good play or bad play. You know what I mean? So you got to take the brunt of it. But I think, worked hard in practice, was respected by all, and gave everything I had. So I had a lot of great moments, had some tough moments, but that kind of comes with the territory too.
Hey, Brad, do you like how the game has changed since you've left football in regards to like the rules to protect the quarterback? Or are you one of those old school guys who kind of likes that tough type of brand of football?
By the way, you can't even touch receivers now, Brad. You probably throw for like 6,000 yards. Bro.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man, I got 2 knee replacements coming soon. So yeah, I wish they had changed the rules for me. Cracked ribs, neck surgery, broken foot. I had it all. But you know what? It's really interesting. If you go back in time and look at when I was playing, if you threw above 61%, you were pretty good. You were good. And but now you're looking at last year alone, there's only one starting quarterback, that did not throw over 60%. So the whole league is gone there. So the league, the RPOs, the quarterback's not taking hits, the receivers not getting grabbed at the line, and some of the fines that are taking place, and the systems are better, players are better. I feel quarterbacks are better as a whole, and the game it's gotten better. So as a fan, I want to see points. I want to have fun. You saw, I think 3 or 4 guys threw over 70% last year. So the game has changed. More yards are being thrown now. So records, they will be broken. They're not playing 16 games, playing 17 games. So games change. I'm a fan of football, so I'm a fan of protecting players too. So I got no problem with it.
Hey, Brad, I got 2 for you. So usually you get 2 weeks between the Super Bowl, but unfortunately, like the league likes to shaft us as usual. They only gave us 1 week. So they sent the team ahead, and they put Simeon on curfew. What was that like, Simeon doing, bed checks? And then the second half of it was, be honest with us. You could tell us. Nobody's watching, Brad.
Well, people are watching.
John Gruden carved up the defense doing the walkthroughs, being the quarterback to emulate Gannon, right? He carved up Sapp and Rondé, everybody, and got them ready, right? Like,
yeah, he did. It was interesting on the. We flew out on Monday. We played in Philadelphia on Sunday. We flew out on Monday afternoon. The coaches came in Tuesday night. They worked on the game plan Monday back in Tampa, and then they rented Mark Cuban's plane, so they did more game plan on Tuesday as they got there. There was curfew check, but I don't really remember it. I don't remember Simeon or Warren Sapp knocking on my door, but no one got in trouble. You know, usually every year they actually had somebody get in trouble for them that year.
Well, their center went to Mexico and just never came back.
Yeah, I mean, the teams that lose, they usually somebody makes a mistake, and it's really weird. It's interesting. Got to be accountable. So we didn't have any of those kind of things. I'm not sure who went out or didn't go out. That wasn't an issue. No one it didn't affect us. But it was kind of neat because Gruden had been with the Raiders, so he knew how Gannon kind of worked his deal. And so the very last practice, it was a Friday practice for the Super Bowl. He took over the scout team because he wanted to play quarterback. And so he'd get up there and trip strike, 96 Seattle, 96 Seattle. No, check, 97 Wanda. No. Kill, 358 cannon. And then he would check and make some pass. Our defense was laughing. They gave him 4 or 5 completions. He was having fun. And then after practice, we came back. And so we had meetings in the hotel that night. And he was the first one. John was the first one back in the hotel. He was in the meeting room. He was thumbing through the film. Look at this play. I carved up Brian Kelly. Jackson off. Lynch couldn't stop that. I mean, so he was going off. And we had fun. The thing about it, I'm like, Grooves, man, there's a play clock. You can't check the 6 different calls. So, but he had fun with it, and we did too. You know, it was kind of we needed a light moment at that time.
Brad, you've recently made a splash in social media, man. You're doing these trick shots. We want to eventually play a game of horse with you. Kind of talk to us about where that whole thing kind of came from and how that became a thing. And then you told us you have a story that involves a 12-year-old in a game of horse, and we have to hear this.
By the way, we want to play with horse against you, but except for Stank, like he's the most unathletic person.
What are you talking about?
So he is excluded because he cannot represent the Loose Cannons brand.
Not true.
Brad,
Not true.
That's right.
If anything, it's going to make for really, really good video.
Listen, he's a right tackle with a left tackle's feet, basically. He can't stand up without falling. I've seen him, not me, Latte's seen him fall 2 times in a 15-minute period in the same day.
I'm going to fall on the court, but you know what? I'm going to make some spectacular Allen Iverson, maybe.
I highly doubt that, Luke Longley. Go ahead, Brad.
As long as you know your skill set and your role, so you're good to go. So
there you go.
Basically, I got on TikTok probably about a year ago. It's Big Bad Brad 14, and so basically, I put a lot of the plays I had throughout my whole career on this thing. Put a lot of workout videos and stuff. But then I was North Carolina, coming out of high school. I was the North Carolina Player of the Year, and then I played 2 years at Florida State. Basketball is one of my things. Obviously, I can throw football, and I started making all these videos, these throwing balls at crossbars and making baskets and trick shots, and so I've had fun with it. And so I actually got my hat right here. This hat was given to me after Super Bowl, Big Bad Brad 14, and then it's got the Roman numerals, a little pennant there. And then my nickname was Bull down in Tampa, but everybody on TikTok knows me as Big Bad Brad 14. But it's been fun. I think it's kind of caught on. I started putting stuff on Twitter and Instagram and however that stuff works. I'm new to social media, but there was actually a funny article that was written in Tampa. It was kind of Golf Digest, Brad Johnson, something like that. And it said, Brad Johnson's the king of horse. No one can beat him in the whole world. You know what I mean? I'm strutting around the house. I'm like, yeah, I'm that dude, you know. So we live up in Athens, Georgia. And then a friend of mine, he has a girls' basketball camp. He's like, Brad, hey, come down here. Can you come down tomorrow, give a speech to the kids? And then afterwards, I want to play horse with one of the girls, beat her, and kind of show her how good you are and all that kind of stuff. So I get in there. It's David Pollock's kid. He played at Georgia. I don't know if you remember him. And
yeah,
she's 12 years old. And so she wins we go rock, paper, scissors to see who gets to shoot the shot. Well, she starts making these threes. I'm like, holy smoke. Oh, real quick. So I finally get the ball back. I shoot one over the backboard. I miss it. I'm like,
oh boy.
I don't ever miss, but I miss. Well, now I get HOR against this 12-year-old girl. I'm like, the king of the world in horse doesn't lose. But then I started getting nervous. I'm like, this is real. I cannot defend my title after one day. And then I just had to shoot normal shots, and I ended up winning till the victory goes to spoils. But pride comes before fall. And so it was a fun moment. It kind of made me nervous too, you know.
Be honest, Brad. Be honest. More pressure. the NFC Championship, the Super Bowl, or almost losing to the 12-year-old girl?
Well, it's all about the moment. The moment was then. We'd already won the Super Bowl. The moment was I can't lose to a 12-year-old girl, but she started making shots from everywhere. You know what I mean? I didn't even warm up. I'm shooting a girl's basketball. I didn't even get to do any tricks. I had to take her to deep water to see if she could swim and start hitting threes. You know? So
you probably would have lost if you had John on the sidelines yelling out all those fucking terms you just spit out, no problem. He's just like, hey. Check, 96Z flat power back, whatever the hell he's saying. You probably would have lost. Listen, Brad. Listen, we talked Bucks. We talked a little bit about the Super Bowl this year, Tom Brady. But people tune into this show for real like insight and analysis.
We're gonna go there already. We're gonna go there.
Did you have other stuff?
I just, Brad. Just last one from me. What's your outlook on this team this year? I mean, we did it all. You were a quarterback that played in a system for the first year and won it that year. Like, how much better were you in the second year with the chemistry, with the receivers and understanding the system? What do you think they're going to do this year? Like, how much better can they be with the chemistry in year two?
Each year is a brand new year. I mean, the one that's done it the most is obviously Tom Brady. I mean, he's won 7 Super Bowls. He lost 3, went to 4 other AFC championship games. He won the first year. They made the 10 moves of thinking free agency. They re-signed everyone back. Very similar to our year. We came back. We were ready. I can't explain it. It's a long story to really got to go into everything. But we were ready. We beat Philadelphia up in the new stadium. But we went through. You lose Joe Jurevicius, Allstott, and Brian Kelly. We lost 7 players. 7 players. And then, you lose Keyshawn was gone and Rich McKay was gone. I mean, everybody was gone. Like, at the end, where was everybody at? You know what I mean? And so things like that happen. We lost 2 or 3 crazy games. The Indianapolis Monday night game.
I was there.
We lost the Carolina Panthers. We needed an extra point. Like, the game, there's no time on the clock. It's 0. Extra point. We go home. So we lost some crazy games. And so football, you got to earn it. Last year does nothing. You got the boat parade. You got the ring, and we did the work. I'll say that we did the work. We didn't accomplish it. We went through a bunch of injuries and crazy games. This year, they got everybody back. I'm sure they'll be hungry. You get fans in the crowd this year, and it'll be a great experience for them. Hopefully, they can back it up. It's hard. Football's hard. To get a first down is hard. To score is tough. To win a game, it's well earned. So hopefully they can do it, and just kind of sit back and cheer for them and see what happens.
It's tough. They're going to be defending it. They got the target on their back. You've been there. Tom's been there though, so. We're as fans, we're thinking Tom's been there. He understands some of that. Maybe that'll, he'll share that information with the other guys, the younger guys. He had them ready for the playoff run. We saw guys that were rookies that were performing like vets in their first time in the playoffs. We saw guys like Levante who were vets but had never been to the playoffs, playing like they'd been in the playoffs their whole career. So hopefully, it does work out.
I think y'all's team, Brad, clearly the defense was ready to win. The offense was starting to click. Like all fans, like you guys probably, we expected it was going to be a long run, but the injuries just tore us apart. If not for the injuries, who knows? I think we could have gone back to back.
Those aren't excuses. Those are real.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
Lost, like it's unheard of how we lost. Like it's unfathomable. But that's part of football. That's what makes it so great when you win. And you got to you got to have your best players playing when it's time. It's like Kansas City this past year. I mean, they went to the AFC Championship game 3 years ago. Then they won it 2 years ago. Last year they're back. You lose your couple of linemen, and then Mahomes is running for his life. So players matter, games matter, and so hopefully they can stay healthy and see what happens.
Yeah, they ran into a buzzsaw, but they definitely came in limping. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Listen.
All right, Sam. What the people tune in? Go ahead. What the people really tune in?
Yeah, let's get
the
football is all fucking good and whatnot, but people are tuning in for the real shit here. All right. So on this podcast, we love chicken wings. Chicken wings are the #1 food in the entire world. There's no fucking competition. A brisket is good, but it's no fucking chicken wing. All right. So we have 2 very important questions, Brad, and the response to these questions determine if you ever come back on this show. All right. And I know you're a Super Bowl champ. I know you got the ring. I get all that. And I'm a Florida State guy, so you're on 2 pedestals here. But man, listen, you get this chicken wing question, like I can't have you back here. And I
am
love you,
so
man,
nervous. I am so.
I always get nervous when I have a
I
player
really
on here
don't
and I have
want
to ask
to.
this.
I really don't want to not like Brad Johnson.
No,
I
listen, Brad is from the South, right?
Smart
Brad, you
guy.
were born in Georgia.
He's a smart guy.
I was born in Georgia, lived in North Carolina.
Yeah. See, so I mean, you already know he's got that good Southern taste. Let's see how good it is.
All right, so it's a two-part question, man. When you're having wings, are you getting them dry rub, or are you going saucy, just napkins all over the fucking place, just dripping wet? It's a very
You
important
know, I
question.
would change all my clothes all the freaking time, right?
Yep.
You know what I
He's a
mean?
dry rub guy.
So I'm not getting them drippy wet. No, I'm getting them mild. I'm getting them right. I'm gonna have some sauce on my hands. I get it.
So
But I
sorry.
don't want it all over my face. I want to eat normal. I want to enjoy my food, to be honest with you.
You're a sauce guy. You're a sauce guy. I
So
respect.
that wasn't dry rub though.
Not dry rub. You're a
That
sauce
wasn't
guy.
dry rub.
It's
Now the more-
saucy, just not enough to change your
It's saucy.
clothes every third.
It's
Right.
just enough. Yeah, I'm gonna dip it in blue cheese and call it a day.
You know what?
There it is.
Question.
There it is, bro.
Brad
You
in
didn't even need the other
Super
question.
Bowl. That was the second question. Are
He
you
was so prepared.
Or
He
blue
just
cheese?
he just fucking audible. He called
did,
Scat
bro.
Pack 99ZYX Flat Rock. He did it to us.
You know what
he
he
did
did?
all
You know
of
what
that.
You know what he did? Hey, what did you guys expect? Brad Johnson did the
my
film
God.
work. He broke down and studied the podcast. He came on here prepared, man.
He knew.
Blue
He
cheese,
dropped it.
fuck ranch once again,
You're
and
not, listen,
sauce.
you're not going to win a
Amazing.
Super Bowl if you eat ranch. We
No,
have
clearly. Brad, we were gonna ask you that, and you just fucking. This is a monumental moment on this
That
show.
was
This
Joe
has never
Jurevicius.
happened.
That was the pass. That was the
That
pass
was
to
the
Joe
pass.
Jurevicius.
That was a
the pass to Joe Jurevicius.
73-yard pass. Oh my
pass.
God, that was
The bull.
amazing.
You need your own brand of blue cheese and call it
You
the
do.
bull.
The bull blue
do.
cheese.
Big Bad Brad, blue fucking cheese.
love
The quadruple B's. Big Brad,
Big bad Brad blue cheese.
blue cheese.
Yeah, and get sponsored by the Better Business Bureau. Now you got like 65 B's on that
There you
fucking
go.
can right there. It's fucking amazing. I love it.
I don't even know what to say. The bull. Oh, he listen. He stared down the barrel of the gun with the loose cannons. He knew the question was coming, and he fucking stood tall and just delivered the fucking.
I really
Bam!
wasn't nervous. I really wasn't nervous. I knew he couldn't be a ranch guy. I knew it had to be blue cheese.
What if I had said ranch? What would have happened?
Oh,
We would've just ended the
technical
call.
difficulties. We would have had to edit it out. I
We
couldn't.
would've just
You would
ended the
have
call.
gotten that screen with like the 8 different colors, or the 8 bars
Yeah,
of color, and it would have had the emergency broadcast network, all of that shit going on. I mean, come on, man. I would have had to find out where you live and rip that flag down. I can't ranch. I mean, here's the thing. I don't think he watched our show. I don't think he knew the question was coming. He just knew what to audible based on what he was seeing on the field, guys. This was
Oh, that came from the heart, bro.
it's from here
Listen.
up. It's from here up, man.
Not only did this man win the first Super Bowl in Tampa Bay history,
Legend.
and brought us all joy.
Legend.
He likes sauced wings,
Mm.
and he dips them in blue cheese. Not shit. I mean, Hall of Famer in my book. Just put him in the
Brad,
fucking.
hey Brad, I need that jersey now, bro. And I'm gonna put Big Brad blue cheese on it. I'm gonna hang it up on the wall right here behind me.
Dude, that would
That's
be
incredible.
That's what we need to do. We need to make this blue cheese, and we need to get Brad to sign the blue cheese and endorse it, and we're gonna sell it. We're gonna do,
Listen,
and
we
we're gonna
already
have
know
it
that
benefit
you've already
some
designed
sort
the
of
logo in
charity,
your head.
some sort of charity that Brad signs off on, and we'll just have the money go. It's perfect. Big Bad Brad blue cheese.
Blue cheese. Amazing. For the kids, y'all. For the
Kids.
kids.
Kids. It's gotta be that big chunky blue cheese too, man. That
Oh,
big nugget of blue cheese in there.
This is-
I don't know
even know
what to say, man. I don't know
I
what
mean,
to say
Brad's
after
like,
that.
Brad's
The
like
show's
they're
over.
more
The show's
excited
over.
about the blue cheese than they were about my
Any
career.
other story we've asked
Yeah.
him about. I gotta ask, man. You played with Keyshawn, Brad. You played with Keyshawn. Everybody knows him. He's give me the damn ball.
Throw me the damn ball.
Throw me the damn ball. My bad. Okay. And
He wrote a
you're
book about it.
you're a pro. You know how to handle guys like that. You know how to do your job. Was there a little bit of added pressure? Did he pull you aside after practice, like, "Hey, Brad, listen, man, I need." Was there anything funny?
Every receiver does that.
Yeah,
They're always open.
But there's got to be some sort of funny anecdote that goes on between you and Keyshawn, especially when you first got there, because he was there before you, and just trying to get you to kind of look at him a little bit more often than not.
Yeah, I'm gonna flip the script on you a little bit here. when I played in Washington, and it was a Monday night game. I think the Jets were playing the Raiders, and that was right when there was a book called "Give Me the Damn Ball." You know, so I told my wife Nikki, I'm like, "There's no way I'd ever want to play with Keyshawn." Well, on the other hand, there was this other coach, blonde-haired guy out there in Oakland, California. He was yelling at his fullback and his quarterback, Rich Gannon, and I told Nicky, it was a Monday night game. We ordered Chinese food, and I'm like, watching these Monday night games. And I said, I would never want to play with that guy.
That's amazing. What?
So I go to Tampa. I end up hooking up with my two best friends, you know,
Yeah.
with Keyshawn Johnson and John Gruden. And I'll be honest with you, I had no problem playing with Keyshawn. I actually loved it. He was really, to be honest, I'm going to be honest with you, he's probably one of the easiest receivers I ever played with.
Wow.
I remember it was a Monday night game. We had St. Louis in Tampa, and I don't think he had to catch it at halftime, or maybe one. And I in the huddle, I said, hey, just because that was where the coverage was dictating where the ball needs to go, I said, Key, man, I'm going to get you a couple balls here. Don't worry. He's like, Brad, just make your reads. I just want to win the game. Let's just win, make your reads, make the throw. I'm going to get my catches as it goes on. So he never begged, never politicked for one ball. At least with me, he might have done that with coordinators or whatever like that. But with me, I got along great with Key. Had no problem with him. And John was I actually love playing for Gruden too, because the reason why a lot of these coordinators sometimes they'll install the plays and then they go back and they're working on the game plans. And with Gruden, you're with him 9 hours a day. You know what I mean? You're with him all the time. So you agreed upon the plays or the audibles. And so you weren't hiding anything. Like, because otherwise you go back in some meeting like, I hate that play. Well, now you're telling the play caller. The play caller is key. And so, you know, and so to fast forward everything here, we're in the Super Bowl and there's a timeout. And there was three of us standing there. And it was Gruden, it was Keyshawn, and it was me in this little huddle. And Key says, holy smokes, can you smell it? And Gruden says, yeah, that popcorn smells unbelievable in the stands. So we're here talking about two best friends, the guys I never want to play with. We're talking
Super Bowl.
about popcorn and how good this popcorn smells in the stands, how we love to have a bag of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I love playing with those guys. We had great moments, great memories together. So it's pretty awesome.
Is it wild that you played, you know, and retired quite a while ago and Brady's still out there doing what he's doing? I mean, I was reading something earlier. You beat Brady in a quarterback challenge in 2003, and he's still doing it now. And Leftwich, by the way. So you were obviously a gamer, you know, and you like those off the field competitions as well. But is it wild to you that the guy's still doing it?
Yeah, I'm almost 53 now, and Brady 43, so I'm 10 years older. I remember the first time I met him. That was the only time I ever really talked to him. I played against him on one other game, but I don't really know him. But I've talked to a lot of people that have been with him. But I remember at that quarterback challenge, I was like, the guy is extremely competitive. Like some guys, they just let things go. No, it was real. He was always real. He's trying to win, be competitive. And I remember that kind of guy. I played till I was 40 years old, and then my body broke down. And so the way he's taking care of his body, he missed 1 year because of a knee injury, and then he missed another little time for something else that happened. But he's never missed time like injuries, and he's played the game. He's been extremely consistent and gives his team a chance to win every week. And he played in the cold and miserable New England. I mean, it's amazing to see what he's done in his career, and obviously the success he has, and then what he brings to the table as far as who he is and how accountable he is, and then holding everyone to that same approach, and then winning games. It's incredible.
Brad, you know, the great Samir Ali has sources, man. He's got people in the know, and I'm just gonna let you know now. Thomas hasn't forgotten that you beat him.
Yeah, he's got it somewhere.
He's coming for blood, bro. He might even join us for this game of horse. I don't know, unconfirmed, but he might join us because he wants another crack at it.
I want a piece of him too. You know what
There
I
we
mean?
go. There we go. There we go.
I love a piece of that. But you know, his career undeniable. His 7 rings, and hopefully he gets 8. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But if we're playing horse or we're going to throw it throw balls at goalposts, and I want a piece of that action too.
Listen.
I got a question about Keyshawn Johnson though, real quick. Sorry, Sammer.
Go ahead.
Sammer asked about the defense and players talking junk and trash talking. Keyshawn was a notorious shit talker. One of my favorite clips on the Super Bowl tape or the Super Bowl NFL films is that year. I forgot who it was, but he was yelling at somebody, "You fake ass John Randall," and then he goes back and he apologizes to the offensive line, like, "My bad, bro. I'm gonna get you killed." Is there any stories of him talking crap where you're like, "Bro, just shut up. Stop poking the bears. Stop provoking crap. Just be quiet."
He probably had a microphone on the back of his jersey that day talking, but that was up in Cincinnati, and I think he was saying it doesn't take one, it takes two, it takes three.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he was always that guy. He's probably the more talkative guy that we had on the offensive side. So he he kind of talked it up a little bit.
Listen, you brought up Tom Brady, and you brought up John Gruden. Now everyone remembers that John Gruden had another chance at a Super Bowl in Oakland, right? And Tom took that away. Did he ever mention anything to you, John himself, about Tom Brady and missing that opportunity because of Tom? Like, did he have some sort of animosity towards him for a little bit?
The Tuck rule. Ouch.
This is where I gained so much respect for Gruden. Okay, so they lose the tuck rule game up in New England. It's snowing, and whether it was a fumble or not a fumble, it is what it is. And New England came through in the clutch, and they won the game. So all kudos to them, and however they throw the flag, they throw the flag. But what Johnny said, he took responsibility. He said, "Listen, we had a 4th and 1 call. It's called green right close 14 blast, and all we needed was 4th and 1. We needed a first down. If we get the first down, we win the game." He said we didn't get it, and he's always talking about the details of that. It would never came to the tuck rule game if we would have got the first down. So he never got caught up in the tuck rule. He got caught up in like, listen, we had a chance to win on 4th and 1. We didn't do it, and that was one of the crying points out for us. Let's be great at 3rd down, 3rd and short, goal line plays, all that kind of thing. So I gained a lot of respect by John just owning up to that fact, and those are the things you kind of miss. We talk about the tuck rule. He's talking about the 4th and 1, and you either make the play or you don't.
Well, he
Brad,
upgraded. He upgraded from that Richie fullback to Mike Allstott. So, or as he called him for a little bit, Mark Allstott. I remember that.
Yeah, she sure did. Brad, you came here to play for Tony Dungy, and obviously, the contract was more beneficial to you. But were you part of you a little bit sad you didn't get to win one with Tony here?
Yeah, unbelievable. Great respect for Tony. I'd known him in Minnesota. We were together, I think, 3 years. He's a defense coordinator. I was running the scout team cards at that time. So I was around him a lot because he would hold up the scout team cards. And that's how our relationship built. And I played against him a bunch, but he brought me to Tampa. So, he told the team the day before we were up in Philadelphia, we had a walkthrough in the stadium that, he was going to be there. And then they made a move, and firings are part of the game. Mm-hmm. And you got to give him credit, though. He took Tampa from where it was, the Yucks, to making them great, not on the field, but in the community and impacting the community. And then moves are made. And then he went to Indianapolis, made himself a Hall of Fame coach.
Yep.
And in the Ring of Honor for Tampa and Indianapolis and the Hall of Fame. He's on NBC Sports on Sunday night, written best time sellers. And so, moves are made. And he didn't dwell on it. He moved back. He moved on. And the great thing about it, he still lives in Tampa, made it his home. He loves it. It's still impacting the community and impacting the game at the same time. So have all the respect in the world for Tony Dungy. No doubt about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the impact he made on the players. I mean, you look at Warrick Dunn still out there doing incredible things, with his charity, and Derek and just countless other players, man. It's obviously we still love Tony here.
Yeah, that was a big thing. So Tony and I were in Minnesota together. Denny Green, I give Denny Green a lot of credit too now, because they came from the same tree a little bit. And every Tuesday, that was our day off. And every day you were out in the community doing something, whether it's going to speaking at a school or going to a hospital or doing something, your charity work or whatever it was. And that was the same approach Tony brought to Tampa. And a lot of those guys, and so you talk about the 2 or 3 names that everyone knows about, but it wasn't just 2 or 3 people. It was everybody on the team was doing their part. And still to this day. And then those things kind of pass on too. So pretty awesome how Tampa got impacted by Tony Dungy.
Yep.
Brett, I got before Stank asked that question, we touched on Mike Allstott and Tampa being a blue collar city. mainly known for their defense and, you know, how the defense would punch in the mouth. What was it like? Did you ever catch yourself watching, like as a fan watching Allstott run? What was it like to watch Allstott run and just body blow after body blow, just bouncing off of people? Like that dude was just, it was insane. The A train, man. It was awesome. What was it like for you to see it from your vantage point?
Yeah, I played against him a bunch, and I mean, every time he walked around the building, he had these big arms going around. You know what I mean? And he was a tough guy. He loved to play. Football meant a lot to him. Still does. He's still coaching high school football.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa loves him. Obviously, he's in the Ring of Honor. And I remember there was a game against Cleveland. I mean, it must have been 125 degrees. I think we won 16-12. I mean, I don't even know what it was. We were half delirious. It was so hot. And that day, we just kept handing him the ball. There was one carry he had. I think like 9 guys. We just kept handing the ball. 9 guys like touched him, jumped on his back, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're hearing these whistles in the crowd, the choo-choo, you know what I mean? Choo-choo. I mean, and that's what A-Train was. He loved football. He's a grinder, and just all the respect in the world for him. And obviously still lives in the Clearwater area and loves football. You know, there's no doubt about that.
Brad, before we wrap it up, man, I wanted to give you an opportunity to shout out any sort of charity organization, stuff that you are tied to, work that you do in the community, whether it's in Tampa or, you know, where you live now. Kind of give you an opportunity to shout that out and bring a little bit of exposure to that too.
Yeah, no, I appreciate. I'm getting ready to. I've always been involved with Evelyn Foundation. It's up in North Carolina. It's all the money goes back to the people of Western North Carolina. Where I grew up in Black Mountain, North Carolina. I've done golf tournaments for 20 years, hosted big parties and all kind of auction items and stuff. So that's who I'm a part of, is the Evelyn Foundation in Black Mountain, North Carolina. And obviously I do a lot of stuff just everywhere, but that's where my heart and my money and I'm involved with. And then actually getting ready to come out with some merchandise with Big Bad Brad 14 stuff. So we'll blast that out here pretty soon. So hopefully all that money will go to the charity, and hopefully everyone can have fun with it and do that.
You need to stop doing charity golf tournaments and start doing charity horse tournaments. That's where
That's
where you need to do it.
That
right
would
there.
absolutely kill.
Hey,
It really
Brad,
would.
hey, Brad, that one's free. The next one he's going to charge you. That one's free.
Listen, not everybody, obviously everybody, but everybody can play some level of horse. Not everybody can play golf, but you get out there. I mean, that would be fun. Sign me up. And I'm getting one of those hats and hopefully a jersey.
I need one of those hats. And Brad, right before we sign off here, just for the crowd, blow our minds one last time. Give us John Gruden's longest fucking play call. In the check.
Yes.
Like, just blow our minds. Longest play call in the check. In the huddle, the 4 of us are in here right now.
Yep.
Call him the play to us, bro.
I'm clearly the starting wide receiver. Stank's the fullback that rarely touches the ball, and Latte is the star running back. Go ahead.
He's a long snapper.
I'm gonna give you 2 different plays. All right, let's go. Let's go. You shift to green left to west. F short spike to you. Banana Z over 3. Heads up. I'm sorry. Let's go. Right.
Great.
You got me. You shift to green left to west. F short spike 2. Y banana Z over heads up for 359 smoke. Hey guys, we got green right slot. 93W. Heads up for a buster call. If we don't like it, we're going 96 Seattle. And I got Spider 2 Y banana or 58 Dolphin in my back pocket. How you like that?
Yep. Watch 54. 54 is Mike.
Hey, guys, by the way, guys, you were just in the huddle with Brad Johnson. He just called the fucking play for you guys. What the fuck?
Listen, I don't know what I'm open though. Just look at me. I'm wide open the entire
Hey,
time.
you sound like Keyshawn.
I'm smoking my guy, bro. You think one guy's gonna cover me? They need 3-4 guys, and even then, you get the ball in my hands. They're not bringing me down. I mean, come on.
Me and Sammer, our numbers are 7-11 because we're always open, baby. And Stank's he's the long snapper. He's the backup long snapper. He just sits on the bench.
I open holes. That's what I do.
That's a great way to sign off. Okay.
Brad, thank you so much for hanging out, bro. This was fun. We cannot wait to figure out how we're going to play a game of horse against you. It's got to be the 3 of us versus you because it's a bit unfair. You've got ridiculous skills. You're the best horse player in the entire world, right? So it's got to be us 3 against you. Plus, we got Stank on our team, so it's kind of, it's already, we've got a handicap.
I'm not the handicap. You're going to see.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You're Luke Longley without Luke Longley's skill, which is saying a lot because I don't think he was very skilled at all. So
appreciate you so much, Brad. Seriously.
Thank you so much, Brad.
Like what?
Yep. And as always, let's sign out with a Go Bucks and some deuces.